Howdy, nearly senior citizen here. Greetings, boys, girls, and to all of our non-binary friends. And remember, no matter who you are valid. Well, it is Christmas Eve day. It is about one something. Almost 20 minutes until 2 p.m. on Christmas Eve day. Thumbs up for that here in Shelton, Washington, and probably every other place that it's the 24th of December, not just here in Shelton. Yay! Anyway, though, not a whole lot happening in my life. It is the holidays, and things are closing early out there, of course, so I need to hit Walmart to grab some sodas, maybe a snack. And so, thumbs up. Now, yesterday, Amazon showed my core box for Final Girl is being delivered. And no, it wasn't. So I went and sent in a, no, this thing was not delivered to me thing through Amazon. And then tried to do some more looking around. Was able to discover through click enough pages that the driver had dropped it off at the local YMCA, which is way far away from here. I mean, it is nowhere close, so I have no ideas what was going on. But I was able to get over there and then pick up the core box for Final Girl. So now I have the first of the, and this, well, this is the brighter side. Since I'm in a dimmer area, this is the first Final Girl, and it's the actual first one that comes with the game. And then there's the core box, which is just, it just says core box on it. So, yay. And there are, I have been reading the rules book. Now, I had mentioned before that playing a game versus playing a computer game is, because of my ADHD and because of that, the executive function and dysfunction issues. Playing a computer game is decide to play, click on the, you know, let's say I have to click to bring up Steam, and then click on the store page for the game, and then click play. That's decision, click. Not difficult. Each step does require a I have to do it, which means it's a possible choke point, but that's not hard. Whereas, make a decision. Grab the boxes. Make sure I got room on the table. Open the boxes. Spread the pieces out. There are a lot of pieces for this to go everywhere. Get those all broken down and placed into place. And then sit down to play. That is a lot of possible choke points. And because they're physical, they're a lot harder to get over than just the click. So it is harder to do, but it's not impossible. And I do want to play these. Especially since, yes, it is true that you can have any combination of your Final Girl plus location plus killer. So, I mean, it's the same general thing. Final Girl running from killer, you know, killer getting stronger as he, she, it kills, and then you have to either kill the killer or die. So it's the same basic story. It's just your victims change, the killer changes, where it happens changes. And so, I mean, that's fine. That's good. So thumbs up for that. Yay! So I'm going to hopefully be playing some of that here soon. I mean, it's Christmas Eve, so I don't know how much I'm going to be doing that way. So, I mean, yay. But I've got all sorts of stuff and all sorts of things I want to do, and it's going to be more difficult to get things purchased in the upcoming months. Because once again, I used to spend all of my disability on my rent. And then I had to buy food and other things that I needed to live on top of that. And it was the only getting my Patreon patronage people who were helping me out that I was able to buy things to actually live. Well, because the cost of living has gone up, that's bumped me up over the threshold of a couple things, so now I've got my disability, and then I got my rent, and then I got $170 for the Medicare, and then I got $120 for my storage unit, and I've got to pick up that $150 for food, and I got to pay the $40 for my phone, and then, well, now I've pretty much used up all of my disability, and if I want to buy anything else, it's going to be things like Patreon patronage. So I want to buy lots of stuff. I'm not going to be able to buy lots of stuff. I'm going to hopefully be able to pick up things as I go along. I want to pick up more of the Final Girl expansions. I want to keep buying the Mike Lambo books. I need to buy less food. I need to lose weight. I had been stress eating for years, and as homelessness got closer and closer, stress got more and more. I have picked up a lot more weight than I really need or like. So, oh boy, I can save money by not eating. So we shall see what happens. And still, there's a ton of stuff that I want to play for the channel, as well as just break through my executive dysfunction and do for me. There is one, well, it's two sets, a game called Miru. There's Miru 1, and then the sequel, Miru 2, solo RPGs. There's a ton of other types of RPGs out there that are solo that I want to play. There are still the games like Scarlet Hero, which does not come explicitly made for solo play, but has a section in it to tell you how to play it solo play. And as a channel that I really respect on YouTube, the Dungeon Dive with, I don't know his last name, but his name is Daniel, he was showing how, because they are roughly all OSR, which means they are all roughly, a little bit of work, but roughly compatible. You use the game White Box for the bestiary, you use the game Scarlet Heroes for everything else, and you've got a great system to play solo. Because there are all sorts of systems. You can use Gemulator or the Mythic, the GM emulator, both of which have systems in them to increase the tension of the story so that things actually ramp up. The difficulty and the dangers ramp up to simulate the GM ramping things up as the story goes along. So yeah, there's all sorts of stuff I want to show off, as well as I've never played it, I've only read the rules, but I really like the game Ancient Odysseys Treasure Awaits, with the companion volumes More Treasure Awaits that adds stuff. And that is a game that was made up like 2011. There are a lot of solo games that were made up in the early 2010s and then really never got any support past that. And then lots of other games by the same people came out, both solo and not. So I wish they'd go back and show some love to these older systems. But they're still selling Ancient Odysseys Treasure Awaits and More Treasure Awaits, and it looks fun. The only problem I find is I still need to figure out how to make up the game loop. They don't have it condensed in the book for, okay, you do this, then you do this, then you do this, then you do this, and when you're done, back to the top of the chart list. I mean, like, every other game, 4 Against Dungeon is, oh, you're going to do this, so you start up here, you check this, you do this, dot, 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 and then you start back up again. D100 Dungeon has a step where you go dot, 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 and when you're through it, you go back up to the top. I can't find that for Treasure Awaits and More Treasure Awaits, so But still, all sorts of things, and it's a very good thing. And I need to read through that one big town book further than I have for 4 Against Darkness that turns it into an actual role-playing system. They even have it to go with. They were working on it with like the Tales from the Adventurers Guild, which gives you systems for adventurers guilding and how to have adventurers guilds and what they mean and how to use patrons, and so there's all sorts of good stuff on how to do that. So 4 Against Darkness, really good stuff. Really want to play more of that. Want to play more of Note Quest, even though Blorbo Orc Eater has become far too grim, even though I think I can ungrimify him. But if you remember, Blorbo is like a 4-foot tall gnome who went in the first, well, not first, but in one of their Note Quest Expanded World adventures, ended up on a corpse pile, half a hit point left, drank what was the dregs of a health potion, and managed to survive and get out of this place where he had been beaten. And then, as they were continuing to travel, found out they were being tracked by an orc. But the orc, not realizing that, Blorbo, as desperate as he was, well, Blorbo just swarmed and killed the orc. So Blorbo cut off and ate a whole bunch of steaks from that orc. And from that point on, they've got 4 notches in this one ear for each orc they've eaten. They just kill the orc, hack off about 10 pounds of meat, and then eat that. 5 rings in this ear, and then 2 golden rings worn on fingers for every orc he has killed and eaten some of. There's ways to keep that light and fluffy, but I don't know how to do that personally. Blorbo Orc Eater has become way too grimdark for me. Good character. Good character. I just don't know what to do with them. And of course, still working with all of my characters and situations and such. I mean, after all, there's the whole cosmology with the multiverses, and then within our particular multiverse, there are all the various types of universes you can find. And then in that one universe that is the whole inside-outside Razor's Edge thing, I have the inside-outside and the Razor's Edge, and then the Cryptid world is a part of the world setting, which is ours, which is, I call it, sarcastically, it is just a coincidental carbon copy of our world, because there's each world, each time the cycle of the Earth and the world happens in that universe of our star system, there will be a Goldilocks zone, there will be an Earth-like planet, there will have life evolve on it, and then life will evolve to the point that there will be people genetically identical to us, and coincidentally genetically identical to those human beings that live on the Razor's Edge and those that live on the inside. And then it all begins again. But of course, with the cryptids, I am standing up, which is why I'm doing a lot of this, and I'm not holding on to it so the tablet's not going all crazy as I move. But of course, I've got my cryptids who, they're nice individuals. I think that they're wonderful, wonderful race of beings. I love them. They're wonderful and great, but they are broken, and they have all of their possibility and potential being thrown back into their face. So even as we make progress as a species, they're losing track. They've been living as little more than animals for hundreds of thousands of years, and even though they're happy, it's because they don't have any choice. That's their default state of being, is happy with their existence. But are they really happy if there's no other choice? But of course, they live their lives, they do their things, and they've been gathering around urban centers, and we only interact, we of course, being the people whose third eyes have opened, only interact with a very, very small percentage of the urban cryptids that gather around urban areas. But even at that, when your third eye opens, these strange beings become largely the only companions you can interact with on a in any meaningful way. You are basically a failed cryptid if your third eye opens. You can see and interact with the cryptid world, but you're still a human being. But you can't really interact with the human world perfectly anymore, nor are you really a part of the cryptid world. You're caught in between, but the only individuals you can really interact with are the cryptids. And while they look like people, they look just like we do, the ones that are interacted with in the story, because in the story, 90% of the characters that are cryptids that I talk about are human looking. The remainder are either humanoid or just not human looking at all. But those are the only ones I talk about. That's a very small percentage of ones that look human. The rest are not. But even though they are human and look human, they look upon human beings as a little more than food. And even though any one cryptid, like Y1 cryptid, Polly, she's 5'6". You know, she's between 110 and 120 pounds, soaking wet. She's not a very big individual at all. When she goes out to a fast food place, she can make her way through, a medium-sized burger, most of the fries, and a large portion of her drink. And then she is legitimately full. Legit full. Could not eat anymore if she wanted to. And yet, even as full as she gets eating that, she can comfortably and easily devour completely, bodily, and entirely up to a 250-pound human being. Bite by bloody, painful bite. Because they don't bother killing you before they eat you. Because, eating you kills you. So since you're gonna die anyway, why bother killing you? So they just start eating. And when you're getting baseball-sized chunks bitten out of you, because cryptid tooth and claw passes through human meat like a hot knife through jello, and cryptid claw and bone goes through cryptid claw and teeth goes through human bone, like those little sugar wafer cookies that you can just go crunch, that have the sugary coating in between the layers. We are easy to take apart for them, and they, as stated, can fit a 250-pound human being in pieces comfortably into their bellies. Sure, they look like they're 8 months pregnant, but it only takes like 4 or 5 hours to digest you down enough that they don't look like they've eaten anyone at all. So, yeah, I think they're better than us in just about every way. But their moral compasses are completely and thoroughly broken. Their morals and ethics would make a genocidal dictator, just go absolutely white with horror at what a cryptid decides is, hey, normal. And it's just, they are nearly reasonable, almost rational, and they can come, if you redefine sanity kind of more loosely, they get at least within the ballpark of that redefinition of sanity. So they're fun individuals, and these have become your new peers, the only real individuals that you can talk to. And when you come up to say, hey, their bellies start to slosh and grumble because their bodies are getting ready to digest some meat, even though up here they know you are food, not friend. Now that I've rambled on about that a lot, I'm going to continue reading the rules for Final Girl. I'm going to continue trying to play it. I'm going to continue playing on my own Tin Helm, trying to learn Iron Helm, trying to play and learn Die in the Dungeon, trying to play and learn the elder sign, so that one's going to be a tough one. I'm going to stick to things like the 8-bit dungeon and such now, as well as, again, trying to learn Final Girl. So hopefully I remember to flip the x-axis so you can actually read what I've got up here. I keep forgetting to do that because it's an extra step. So, until we meet again, you take care. Have a great day today. I will see you on the flip side, and through the magic of editing, you take care.